people that want to work with me on a mental, spiritual level, and that's what it is. Now let's talk about stuff, because a lot of things in the world are going on, far worse than my relationship challenges. There's people getting slaughtered in Egypt, so that situation is really out of hand. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, it's just my thought theory concept where things go in and nothing really comes out, because the only thing I did do some reading when I was younger. It reminds me of the book Animal Farm. Everybody's celebrating, but it's a short-lived celebration, because as I was discussing earlier with Mr. E, hidden agenda.
I'm not Mr. E, though.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm everybody.
Oh, excuse me. As I was
get that name straight. Google lets you make multiple names now. You can change your name.
See, this is a problem with time. It's like you have to reprogram yourself.
Let's talk about Egypt, though. I mean, is this like a normal thing? Just be slaughtering people on the street and push the police car over?
Hidden agenda, Mr. E. I did it again. Everybody.
All right. You're stuck in a pattern. I can see that.
Everybody has to realize, including Mr. Everybody, that
no, just everybody.
We're caught into a pattern of hidden agenda, and this happens constantly over and over again. And
hidden agendas.
The Egyptians, as I remember them, and their celebrations and their protests, the military was for them. Now, they got somebody else into power there, and these people are not going to tolerate it. What we're going to see here is not a civil war, we're going to see a revolution. And this revolution is going to be serious.
A revolutionary civil war or a revolutionary war? It doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just people that are not getting along. How are we going to label it? It's war. You know what I mean? It's pretty much the same thing, depending on however you want to color it. And it's a semantic argument, and there's legal shenanigans with it. They don't want to call it a coup d'etat. Who cares? The military took over. We don't know who's manipulating it. Whether it's a coup d'etat, it's violence. People don't know who the leader's supposed to be, and they're fighting over it.
With all respect to Egypt and the military.
With all respect, yeah.
That's all I can say about as far as the UN has to take on a higher meaning of itself.
The UN is not going to have any influence on this, as far as I know.
When you send in peacekeeping forces...
They have a hidden agenda right now going on with the funding coming from the United States and Israel, I guess.
I would love to be in the military.
But can I change the subject? Let me change the subject.
You know why I'm not in the military? Because they don't fight right.
Because you're a coward, that's why.
Oh my God.
You're yellow belly.
I'm a coward.
A
coward to
I didn't say that.
The ideal? A coward to the ideal?
Pick up my weapon. Look at this. I got a freaking brush with hair in it.
Everybody.
I ain't gonna fight. I'm too concerned about how I look.
Am I a coward to the ideal?
No, I want to change the subject. I got next news story, okay? Because we only got a limited time here. They discovered a 123-year-old individual in Bolivia, of all places. Bolivia was in the news a few weeks ago, but forget about that. Now it's about their old centenarian, or whatever they call them. So this is the oldest known living individual. Can you imagine living 123 years old and still going strong? Can you imagine that? How many more years can you put on? If you lived a few decades and you got to add 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 more years, or 70, or 80.
Roger.
You know what? I would love that. I've come to expect that. Give me another 100 years. Give me another 200. I will really love that. I don't know, that some of you out there I find is very strange. Maybe you're atheists, or maybe you Christians that think heaven is so great beyond imagination and you can't wait to die to get there. I think about things a little bit differently. You know, even if I have to fight the bloody revolution here, I'm going to do it. The Civil War is coming. Let's go to the subject on, by the way, what do you think about long life?
I was just thinking about that. I was just thinking of a humorous way of looking at it. You know, it's almost like what came first, the chicken or egg. Who really cares as long as the end result is the purpose? You got an egg, don't you? But if you look at
well, the quality of life is important too.
Yeah, well,
if you had 123 unhappy years, why bother?
Exactly.
But again, I think that there's not a you know, conflict between quantity and quality. You want enough of both. You know, you want to improve on both areas.
Well, yeah,
see what I'm saying? It's not one or the other.
It's nice to have a good meal or whatever you like to eat or
right here.
The purpose. You don't have to know everything, but what if a criminal, supposedly a murderer, lived 150 years? Would we be celebrating that? I mean, is that what exactly are you looking at?
This guy is the slickest mass murderer ever. He's been killing Bolivians for 123 years, and they can't seem to catch him. Well, I want to talk about the comment that's coming here, and people keep insisting that there's 7 other bodies around it, and we're really going to get destroyed this time. Are you ready? Because Elenin didn't do it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We're going to have to fight those aliens. We're going to fight those Anunnaki. They're actually the U.S. and Russian troops dressed up like some kind of gray alien. That's who we're going to be fighting. Alright, what do you think about the terror alert and the fact that someone just wrote to me and said there's going to be more false flags and stuff, and it's horrible to think about that. Not only in Egypt, but now they are showing videos of killing young children in Syria for the shock value of the propaganda. You know what, you children, maybe, I don't want to say maybe there's a reason, because children should be protected. Here's somebody here that has a lot to say, who has secret information about me. Because everybody knows I'm just a tough guy. Everybody knows I'm to blame for everything. Everybody knows that the Boston bombing happened because of me. And everybody knows that they're coming unhinged in Egypt because I'm not a good Muslim. So, you know, do I have to take the blame for all this, people? Because I am everybody? Do I? Somebody explain.
I've lost track of what we're doing here. I was too busy.
Don't ever do that. You're going to be fired? You're not supposed to be eating while you're talking. God damn, you should fire me as the host.
We're talking about...
Do I look like Anderson Cooper to you?
I heard something.
I want to talk about the Fukushima because ultimately that's one of the biggest things.
Roger.
If they are, oh, I don't want to show any nipple. If they are like working against us, like feeding us this negative propaganda to make us fearful, you know, is it just that, a scare tactic, or is there really something going on? That the Japanese are really in trouble? Is it a real emergency? I'm going to freak out if I don't know. And if it happens to be true, I have already faced that, and that makes me freak out.
I took a look at the plant. I didn't realize it was that close to the ocean, like right on the ocean, and obviously was hit. The first thing that came to mind is not the plant. It's almost like in a car accident. You have 2 types of people. what happened to my car, or is my wife or my family okay? So obviously, as a compassionate person, I immediately thought, what happened to those people? So
many people disappeared. They just were unaccounted for, so they added them into the fatalities.
Yeah.
It's horrible. I mean, it's unimaginable what the people went through, like how much they look. We don't even know the cause of all this. We don't even know how bad the ongoing disaster is. But what we do know is that all these people seem to lose their life. I mean, you've got earthquakes shaking, then you've got the black water coming in, flushing them out, killing them, drowning them, then the gas fires, the hydrogen explosion and the radiation showering them, and it's snowing, and the remaining water is freezing. I think they went through a lot, don't you? I mean, this is outrageous. To suffer like that. I think still to this day, the more we find out about it, the more that I have compassion. And it's like, hey, I got a few relationship problems, I got, but it's like, it's not as bad as that.
Well, I took a look at the Fukushima landscape. It's incredible that they built it around like a bowl and like a dome-shaped mountain. So, if you look at
well, it's not exactly like that.
The push of the water coming up, it's really only like 10 or 20 feet, which means that those people could have survived. But since the water has nowhere to go, it's going to come up and around and shoot right back at the plant and bury them in actually more water than what actually was, until that water has its push is gone. So what happened was
tsunami water. If you want to study the movements of the water and how volume moves because of momentum. See, this is churning water, first of all. It's churning water that has force behind it of all the water that's come back. It's pushing it forward. So it's slightly different than a tidal wave. But you're talking about the volume of water. If it hits something with enough resistance, it's going to rise up and then push around, and it's going to push around wherever the edge is that it can continue that motion.
Well, the thing is...
what is your point about the mechanics of the water?
Okay, I'm going to get to that. Now, if they got the log, almost like the log of the Titanic, you could figure out what exactly were the people...
The Titanic was a false flag, by the way.
Anyway. That's a good point. But the thing is, we could try to figure out what exactly the people were doing at the time it hit. Were they adding mock fuel to the reactor? What exactly was going on to where there was these explosions? Why weren't they able to bunker it down? Even though there's some...
You can't do it. You can't do it right then. The time to do that is prior to disaster hitting.
They might have not had safety precautions on, and a lot of water got in the plant, causing the problem to be worse than what it really was. People could have been panicking and opening up doors that they...
Yeah, I think that they were panicking because they weren't told to expect something like that. So...
Was the power plant warned first? This is very crucial.
What do you mean?
We understand after 2.5 years they seem to be lackadaisical about how they went about this.
What Shelby Ken said about it, they don't want to solve the problem because there's a lot of stalling, and he thinks that the ultimate goal is just to keep this thing going and polluting, and it'll gradually... He calls it a soft kill. So it's not like an all-out war where they're shooting lead into you. It's just a slow, it'll kill certain people.
They were watching the tsunami from up above.
It'll be a million.
It's safe inside a helicopter. But the thing is...
No, it's not. It's not safe.
That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that did they warn the power plant at that moment?
Warn them of what? Like Star Trek, we're about to die.
Batten the hatches.
There's no hatches. It's not a ship. It's a freaking building that's square. It can't float. There's nothing to shut down. It's just going to collapse. That's what it did. They don't build it to resist water, and that's the point. You can't look at these stupidly made cardboard house of cards that can't resist, you know, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Of course it's going to fail. It's going to be damaged. It's going to collapse. Of course. And it should have never been built where it was built. Yeah, we know all that. So we have to move forward and say, what do we do now? They're not doing anything that they should be. Well, they're doing some, but it's like putting a Band-Aid on, like, an amputated limb. You just can't put that little bit on it. You have to deal with it in a very drastic way. Okay? So I wanted to wrap up and just say that I may or may not put up my relationship video. I know that I may have gotten some unsubscribers because of it. So I don't even know who they were. I don't even care. I really don't. You know, there's a lot of assholes out there. They're judgmental. You know, if you can't gain anything from me, and you just want to, then you're just like one of those people that are making those comments, and it doesn't affect me. I will be myself on here. I will be real. I will say, you know, I have problems, but you know what? It's just like, if you want to cast the first stone, make sure that you're so much better in every way. You know, I'm talking about people in leadership positions. I cast stones. Yeah, because, you know, they literally have hundreds and thousands and more of deaths that come right to them, that they're responsible with their karma.
Are you talking about, like...
I'm not killing these people. I'm not killing anyone yet. I'm not.
Talking about, like, taking control of the situation when it needs to
I'm
be?
talking about comparing my relationship, where people want to say, you know, okay, I opened up about relationships and it's very sensitive because it's personal, you know. And also, I just happen to think that I talk about news stuff and people will listen. And in conclusion, if I talk to you this long about relationship, and I got all specific and I started talking about people, it's almost gossip. But if I just gave you the facts and I let everybody talk for themselves, okay? I mean, what would be the point? I mean, do people want to see that kind of relationship reality drama? Is that what you want to see?
Well,
like,
actually, that's a good point, Mr. Reedy. The answer to that is the answer on whether you do the grassroots politics of relationships and we the people, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, or you can go to higher levels. How do we deal with Syria? How do we deal with Egypt? How do we deal with Fukushima? When does the UN have a right to state it's out of control and we're taking control of the situation?
The UN doesn't control anything, first of all. The UN is a cover story of some kind of diplomatic level of things that are observation or advisory. And, you know, they're supposed to have more teeth, but they don't. And you got people like Alex Jones and all of them who are screaming bloody murder about the UN having any influence whatsoever. So that's not going to happen very easily because every country has their version of it. And besides which, Alex Jones is definitely a shill. He's like just shown his true colors now, folks. I'm not even going to get into that right here, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know. Let's wrap this up, and thanks for listening. I really try to share everything that I can with people, and that I'm looking to be a part of everybody's awakening all together. I think we're all in this, and we've got to get through. You know, we're all looking at the same challenges, the same kind of news which we can reflect on. You know what? I think we're going to come right back and we're going to do my explanation of the Bhagavad Gita and a few other things like that. How about we do that as another video?